Welcome to I Hope This Helps. We have an exciting guest today. We have Matt Wonski from Town Hall Deli, the birthplace of the Sloppy Joe. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm born and raised in South Orange. Just moved out with my fiance a couple months ago. We're living in West Orange now. Love it. My family purchased Town Hall Deli in 2001, early 2000s, give or take a couple months there. The deli itself started in 1927. So in its inception, the deli was on South Orange Ave next to Town Hall, and that's how it got its name, Town Hall Deli. Most people know it across the street from that location. It was only there from 27 to 35 in that vein. And most people know it in its oldest location, as they refer to it, the Chase Bank building at 18 South Orange Avenue. And we purchased it in its last year open there. So we actually made the decision to close it and move it elsewhere. We got an offer from a bank. They wanted to rent it, and we said, okay. And then we moved around the corner to Valley Street. We purchased the deli from descendants of the original owners, father and son, two fathers and sons that started it. So we had Fred Jost was one of the original owners, and Heinz Berthoff. So Heinz and Fred, they gave it to their kids, Jack and Ron, and we wound up purchasing it from them. In the mid-'30s is when the Sloppy Joe actually came to South Orange, New Jersey. Pretty cool story how it came to South Orange. The mayor of Maplewood went to Havana, Cuba. He ate at Sloppy Joe's bar. And Sloppy Joe's bar is still there. I actually visited with a buddy in 2017.
Oh, wow.
We brought some Sloppy Joes down and tried to tell him the story and everything. But as with everything in Cuba, it's owned by the government. So most of the people really weren't familiar with any history of the place at all, let alone what we were trying to explain to them. But they were very appreciative of it, and they gave us a tour of the kitchen. They actually, our Sloppy Joe sandwich is a cold sandwich. Most of the country doesn't even know what Sloppy Joe sandwich is. So when we get people visiting on the weekends and stuff, they're like, oh, I'm from Chicago. Like, I heard about this place. I got to get this Sloppy Joe. What kind of bun do you put it on? We're like, no, it's not on a bun. We do, it's rye bread, and it's a cold sandwich. So the people in Sloppy Joe's bar in Havana, they thought it was a hot, like, panini type sandwich, and they grilled it for us, put a little Cuban flag in it. It was very nice, but they kind of ruined the sandwich a little bit. We ate it. We enjoyed it. It was, it was good. And the experience was great. I have like a 10-minute interview with them. My buddy was doing most of the translating for me, which was very, very helpful. Appreciate that. So in the mid-'30s, the Mayor Sweeney of Maplewood, New Jersey, which is the sister town to South Orange, kind of like East Hanover, Florham Park sort of deal. We share a school district, this and the other. He goes to Havana, Cuba, and he has this sandwich. And originally it was like throwaway meats. So it was cow tongue, ham, and coleslaw, Russian dressing, and rye bread. And he just loved it. So he came back and he asked Fred and Heinz to recreate this sandwich for them. And they did. He would bring it to all his card games that he would have in Maplewood and like kind of bring it to other politicians. And, it was slowly getting its start, the sandwich itself. So what's interesting about it is the deli opened in 27, as I said, and moved around 33 in that area. Prohibition was like kind of just coming to an end in the mid-'30s there. And then New Jersey came out with all these liquor rules and liquor licenses, and we're the only state in the union that kind of does it the way that we do it. Yeah. And it's very different than every other state. So Town Hall Deli had one of the first packaged liquor licenses that existed in New Jersey and in South Orange, of course. So at this time, a lot of the liquor moguls were moving out of the city, moving out to the suburbs, and like trying to resettle and figure out what they were going to do and set up their future for their kids and everything. So I don't know how much you know, if anything, about South Orange, but there's a lot of historic homes, and they do like historic tours down in like the Montrose section closer to Seton Hall University, like border Newark over in there, Orange and East Orange. There's a lot of these old colonial homes with like farmhouses in the back, and these properties were like 4, 5, 6, 8 acres back in the day before it got really overdeveloped and everything. And a lot of them had like tunnels and stuff under them. I know there's one specific home on Scotland Road that goes up for sale every 4 years. I just can't imagine. It's got like 8 fireplaces. The upkeep on the house must be just brutal. Yeah, between the taxes and everything. And there's a tunnel that goes from the house to the carriage house in the back. And there was always rumors in back in the day of what it could have been, what it might might have been, they were speakeasies is what they were. And these liquor moguls were having these Gatsby-like parties and everything. So in this time, because of the new laws, they weren't really like, if they wanted to send a gift of like a case of scotch to somebody, they had to do it through a store. They couldn't really do it through a distribution center or anything like that because of the new laws. So because we had one of the first liquor licenses, I mean, we found records, they were doing $2,000 a day in the 40s in just liquor sales.
Oh my.
Yeah, like, I mean, just crazy, crazy stuff. So the owners at the time, they were like, well, we need to get them these sandwiches. And like, so they would give a tray here and there, and like they're having these Gatsby-esque, white glove parties, and this was the hors d'oeuvre that they were serving. And it just like was wildfire from there. So time goes on, we wound up purchasing it in the early 2000s. We got the offer from the bank, we moved it. And then in 2013, we moved to that's when I graduated college and I took over. I went to Montclair State University. We found our home in South Orange in this location. We got hooked up with a company, Goldbelly.com. They do global shipping, international actually now. They started continental U.S., hyper small. They picked like 20 or 30 of the best restaurants that they liked and, that they used, and we were one of them. We did all sorts of test shipments from here to California, here to New York, close and far, just to see how it turned out. And now we're shipping close to like 100 a week throughout the country. And
wow.
It's a big part of our business, shipping. And Danny Mayer from Shake Shack, he's invested in Goldbelly a couple times now. They're going to be something. They're smart people, and I'm very happy to be a part and have been a part of them since they started.
Especially on the ground floor, right?
Very much on the ground floor. And what's very unique is like I've tried a whole bunch of other products on there. I mean, they have Chicago beef. You can get pizzas. You can get anything you can imagine that you've had. King cakes for Easter season down from New Orleans, like Mardi Gras. Whatever you can think of. Our product is pretty unique on there. It's one of the few you can just open the box and eat it. We make them, they're ready to go by 4 or 5 o'clock. UPS picks them up from us. We pack them with an ice pack, and they're at their destination by 4 o'clock the next day. So it's just like putting it in the fridge overnight. I was just talking with somebody the other day. I think it was a customer, and I was saying to him, it's interesting. Like we go through phases where I'll eat sloppy joes for like 2 weeks, or I'll eat my cheesecake that I make for 2 weeks, and I just get sick of it. And it's like, oh, I just gorge myself. It's too much. And I'll catch myself at a football game. Like it's a perfect tailgate sandwich, the sloppy joe sandwich, and I'll just take a bite of it. And man, this really is the perfect sandwich. You can walk around with it. You can talk with it. It really just fills you up the right way. Like you don't feel like garbage after you eat it. It's pretty cool.
It definitely is. I know I enjoy it. I know my wife does and all that stuff. I was like, hey, what do you want? Hey, about a sloppy joe once in a while.
Right.
Oh, you're making me hungry, actually.
So in 2021, I guess the part I left out about myself is I think we share in common. We both went to Seton Hall Prep in West Orange.
Yes, we did.
Great school, by the way. I'm a little bit younger than you. I graduated in 2009.
Graduated 99, so about 10 years.
All right, about 10 years. Pretty close. But we were both fortunate enough that we missed the camera generation and the cell phone generation. So I think we had a very different experience. I'm moonlighting. We'll get to that in a minute, I guess. So in 2021, when COVID was at its peak, Seton Hall Prep reached out to me at the deli, and they said, hey, our food service is not really doing the best of job with sandwiches individually wrapped. Like, we need to social distance the kids. We have half the grades in one day, half the grades in the next day. Would you be able to do like 200 or 300 subs a day for us? And I said, sure, why not? I'd love to. I gave it to them at pretty much a break-even price, one, because it's my alma mater, and two, at the time, I mean, we were just starving for business. I mean, nobody knew what was going on, as I'm sure you can remember.
Yeah, of course.
And everyone's just trying to save some money, and I don't know, maybe I don't need that extra sandwich for lunch or whatever the case may be, just to create some cash flow. And then it wound up being a school year. We did it, and it worked out pretty well. And then I started doing some camps and stuff for them, like feeding the athletes and everything. And I kind of bugged them. I said, I could run the dining hall, and we get rid of the fried food and really make this like food. We can cook a lot of chicken and rice for these boys, and make sure. And the headmaster finally said, all right, yeah, we'll give you a shot. And the people that we took over from was Gourmet Dining Services. the Frangillo family. So we actually got to meet with them before we took over, and they were so appreciative of what we were trying to do. They're huge gourmet dining. I think they're owned by Compass Group now, who's into real estate and everything. It's like a mini BlackRock sort of deal.
Yeah, of course.
And both of them, when they met with us, they were like, anything you need, you reach out anytime. If it's not for you, we'll come back like it never happened, and we'll take care of they're alumni of the prep too. And it's just that prep mentality of brothers helping brothers. I mean, it's just what we do. So it's worked out. I've been there since 2021. I'm coming at the end of my fourth school year here. It's morphed into some other things. I'm helping out in the technology office now. I'm a private chef for Monsignor Kelly, who's the president of the school now. Our headmaster, Mike Gallo, who's the dean of men when we were both there.
Yeah,
he's now the headmaster, the first layman headmaster of the school. And he's going to be my father-in-law in August.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You just said a lot there.
Yeah. Couldn't be happier to be in a better family.
All right, so let's talk about, you said so much there. So
Yeah.
we're going to work backwards from
Yeah.
most recent. Okay, so you're at Seton Hall Prep. When I went there, the food was good. It was delicious, but we were talking about, their sugar cookies at the end of the day come out warm. They were unbelievable. You grab some fries, toss a bunch of salt on it, chicken wings, mozzarella sticks, pizza. It wasn't the healthiest of stuff. Now everybody's more into your health and all that. What have you done to bring, things into modern day?
So even though he's my father-in-law or going to be my father-in-law, I think everyone just instinctively calls him Mr. Gallo. So we're just going to call him Mr. Gallo from here on
Of course,
out.
that's all I would.
Yeah, right. He still scares me. Every time we walk in the hallway, Mr. Gallo, sorry, make sure my shirt's right. Oh, I didn't shave this morning. Yeah, whoops. I hope I don't get a dress code violation, but it's all right. His only rule for me is get rid of the fry food. And that was exactly what I said to him too, is we can serve these guys really healthy home cooked food. We'll still keep the sandwiches as an option. They have like an option of 14, 15 different sandwiches every day, 6 to 8 different wraps, 4 or 5 different fresh made salads. A lot of the food I do bring in from the deli, but I have a staff of 8, one of which, or 10 actually, at the school, one of which is Alba. I don't know if you remember her. She's been there since 1984.
I do remember the name. I can't picture what she looks like, but she's still there, huh?
When you see her in person, I get you over there, because you got to try a school lunch one of these days. It's not your dad's school lunch, that's for sure. She was actually, her first year in the building was at Seton Hall's main campus. So when they moved from South Orange to West Orange.
Yeah, when they were at Seton Hall University and the campus over there.
That was her first year, and then she's been there ever since.
Oh, wow.
So she is a staple. And I mean, you see it between faculty that comes back to visit, students that come back to visit. Alba, and she remembers them, big hug. Like, it's incredible, man.
I remember the name. I just can't picture. I mean, it's been obviously many years already.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm rapidly approaching 20 too. So
25.
I mean, it flies by. They have 14, 15 different sandwiches, 6 to 8 different wraps, 4 or 5 different salads, and then we do some sort of hot protein every day. Usually a version of chicken and rice. We try to mix in some veggies in there, but unless it's really hidden in the rice, the kids know to pick it out. That's never going to change. I think that's universal for all of us, even though I'm starting to like veggies as I get older. And then we offer grilled cheese, soups, stuff like that. And then protein drinks. I mean, all the athletes, we have a strength and conditioning coach now. Really big for all the athletes to keep in the gym. And it's not really about bulking and being like obscenely huge or anything, but just staying fit, toned, and flexible. And they've added a lot of mental health things into the school aspects, from meditation to the activity breaks that we used to have on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We could show up at school at 9:45 instead of get a free class.
1:40, I think it was. You got to leave.
Yeah, and you get to leave right at 1:40. It's just not. It's very community organized. Like. It's just a place to be. Like, I feel like when we were there, it was like, I can't wait to get out of this place. Like, I know my dad sent me there just so I didn't go to the public high school and get in trouble.
Same here.
And now it's I want to go to Seton Hall Prep. I want to learn. I want that experience, which is just amazing. The kids are so lucky. I know I didn't appreciate it until I was a junior or senior. I didn't realize what I had. I was just stamping my feet saying, all my friends are at the public school. What did I do here? And I have friends for life. I mean, it's just.
And whoever you meet outside of it, my wife always says to me, she's like, You hear Seton Hall Prep, all of a sudden, I know I lost you. You're going to go meet a new friend. You're going to start talking to someone, and I'll see you in an hour or so.
Totally. And it's, I mean, you know, it's, and I guess we didn't know it. Maybe you did and I didn't. It's your first frat. I mean, you know, I wasn't in a frat in college, but,
neither,
I mean,
yes.
this is one that you're a part of, and you're a part of it for life, and they treat you like that too. I mean, it's really surreal to be in the building and working with some of my own teachers now and calling them by their first name. Again, Mr. Gallo, I won't do it, but it's a strange feeling.
I could only imagine. I mean, I don't think I'd be able to call certain people by their first name either.
Yeah, right.
So now let's move up. Obviously, they move with the times, healthier foods, mental, the strength and conditioning, and, you know, the rehab and everything like that. And obviously, anyone that knows Seton Hall Prep, usually most people think of sports right away. We think of brotherhood, but obviously because we went there. Now, also, kids are also more in tune with things, and like a lot of gluten-free and everything like that. How do you handle that? Do you ask about food allergies? Are they aware?
So we're very fortunate to be in the private school space, and we don't really have to conform to as much of the public school rules and regulations, which is good and bad. When you have a good operator like me, it's great. It's bad when people take advantage and use all fried food, obviously. But, you know, I found when we took over, they were adding a lot of supplemental nutrients to it, which you don't need if you just give them a wholesome meal. You can get those nutrients out of rice. You can get them out of chicken. You can add the right vegetables into the stock and hide it in there and get without adding a packet of something into it, which is what they were doing. The gluten-free and kids with celiac and things like that, they're few and far between, and most of them, there is something they can have, whether it be a salad. There's 2 or 3 students that I've told to just let me talk to you, let me talk to your parents, what do you like, and we'll just have something special for you, whether it be from the deli or from the school, or we just make a little side of something. You know, if what we're making for the day has soy sauce in it, which is a hidden gluten thing that always gets people, we'll just leave the soy sauce out for them. And the kids are just great. I mean, like, they're not like we were. I mean,
At least that's what you think.
Yeah, right. They're just, it's just a totally different, like, if I approach this, like my first year, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can deal with 200 of me, you know, as a high school kid cursing at me or doing whatever we were doing back in the day. It's just, they're not overly demanding. They're not like, there is no expectation of you better have this for me today. It's just everybody rolls with the punches, and like just hazards at forward. It's the model of the school. Tough times, just keep moving forward.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And all right, so there was something interesting you told me, right? This podcast says a lot about entrepreneurship and how you handle that. Obviously, you had to move forward with, you know, COVID. That was one thing. But let's go where your origins. Before we even started talking, you talked to me while you were in high school. You were working almost like a 40-hour work week.
Yeah, so when my family took it over, they took it over in the early 2000s, and I mean, there was nothing. The original store on South Orange Avenue was laid out a little bit differently than it's laid out now, and a lot of it had to do with health code changing. But as opposed to there being a sneeze guard in front of the counter like we have now, there was a railing, like a wrought iron railing in front of it, and it was like 3 feet back, and it served 2 purposes: one, to keep the customers away while you were making the food instead of a sneeze guard, and 2, actually so the guys could work on both sides of the counter on our busy days. So Christmas, New Year's, and Super Bowl are typically our busiest days. We're overnight making 300-400 of them just to keep up with the demand, and then the next day is just like insane pickup. And then working on both sides of the counter, one guy could put the coleslaw down, another guy can put the Russian behind it, and just keep working. A lot of the memories that I even have, and you know, we have generational customers we're very fortunate to have. Their grandparents came there, their parents, and everyone has their own little memory. But one consistent memory is hanging on this railing, just watching the guys make the food. And, you know, when it's your dad's place, you're really comfortable kind of swinging and, you know, just hanging out sort of deal. But it was the coolest thing in the world for me to watch these guys slicing deli meat and, like, give me a little piece of it. And I couldn't wait to use the slicer. My dad just wanted me nowhere near rotating metal blade, which I don't blame him. Yeah, I'm still lucky enough to have all 10, but I've had some nicks, and it just happens. I mean, it's par for the course. So I don't even know how I got down that path.
You were working there,
so
entrepreneurship, and what you learned, all those life lessons.
So I was just really like peeling eggs in the kitchen and doing whatever I possibly could before high school started. And when I was actually able to get working papers and like get, my dad put me on the books, and as he did with everybody, like we weren't paying anybody under the table or anything like that. So I was earning like a legitimate paycheck when I was 13 years old, and I was young as a freshman. I was 12 to 13, turned 13 November. So from freshman year on, I played a little football and wrestled, but I just decided like, hey, I think I want to do this for the rest of my life. Like I'm really into this business. I really enjoy like being here, like these stories I'm hearing from people. And we were shipping in the early 90s too for customers that just like had to have their food, but we weren't doing it anywhere near the way we're doing it now. It was like, okay, we're going to call you on Monday. We'll get it out by Thursday. It's going to cost you $500 to do it because we're overnighting it and we don't really know how to pack it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, people are paying for this sandwich like that far out. Like I just want to be a part of it. So I was working 40 hours a week through high school, and then college I was working like 60 hours a week with overtime, and having some money in your pocket, not saying to your parents, hey, can I have $20 for the movies, was really a good feeling for me. So I was just kind of born with that entrepreneurship mentality. I had a little pine cone business my mom tells a story about when I was a kid. So my dad taught me how to make a fire starter. You just take old dried out pine cone, dip it in wax and wrap a string around it and put it under your kindling in the fire, and bam, fire lights right up. So what I did was I started going around neighborhoods and I was clean up your yard for $5, $10, whatever it is, grab all the pine cones, and then I would dip them and make fire starters and sell the fire starters. And my mom got a kick out of it. I hired a friend to go pick up the pine cones for me just so I could do the dipping part of it. And she's like, look at him. He's got his first employee already. Like, what are we going to do with this kid?
That is awesome, man. That is really awesome.
So now between the two places, I got 52 employees, and it's a lot to manage. And my family has some real estate too we're involved in. And then I went to Montclair State University after high school, worked about 60 hours a week through college. And then that was when we decided to move from our Valley Street location to our location now. And what we did was we actually separated our liquor license from the deli, and we opened just a packaged liquor store. So my dad kind of took that venture on as his retirement gig. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2021. And we had since just sold it right before that. So he got exactly what he wanted out of it. He bought this abandoned building, fixed it up, opened this liquor store, made it profitable, and he got an offer for it, and it put us in the black. And he was like, here you go, man. Here's the keys. Have fun. I built it. I did it. And it's still open. It still seems like they're pretty busy right on Irvington Ave and South Orange. And that's
awesome.
Yeah.
You just said so many things, and I'm sorry for your loss. In 2021, I lost my father as well, so I get that feeling sometimes. Feels like it was yesterday, but it feels like a while.
It's crazy, man. I mean, it really does always just feel like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But my fiance and I were big believers in Cardinals, or the deceased coming to visit you, and we got Cardinals all over the place, man.
Well,
So.
my wife says it too, and every time we see one, we just look at each other because I just lost my mother-in-law as well, and
Sorry, man.
it just made a year and all that stuff, and it's crazy. We both look at each other like, whoa, what's going on here?
We have this bright red one. I got chickens. My fiance is not happy about it. I got chickens as pets, and I just put them out in the yard. They're old enough to be outside now. And this bright red cardinal keeps landing right on top of the coop. And I think it's my dad checking in. I don't know if he's telling me to get rid of them or not.
Just making sure they're okay.
Yeah,
you're doing it right.
Yeah, he's yelling at me. The food's not in the right place. That's all right.
You said a lot. Let me go here. Okay, so you were 13, 14 years old working. You already got your papers. Now, how was it actually? Most kids don't know anything about taxes until they actually graduate college. How was it feeling that right off the bat?
So it was really interesting to see how much you actually lose in taxes on your real paycheck. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm earning $8, $7, $6 an hour. Why is my check only $35? Why is it $100? But we were able to lump in my taxes with our deli accountant, and being a dependent and it wasn't as big of a hit.
No, of course.
And for us, like we said before, just being in high school and to have that walk around money and not have to ask for it. For me, I think you're similar mentality where this is mine, this is your room. This is it's a nice feeling when you don't know somebody, and I obviously I owe my parents a lot. We all do, right?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah,
But I know what you mean. Like
yeah,
you don't owe anybody any money. You don't owe anything. You are your own man. You do all that stuff.
that's it.
But 1,000%. Now you've 52 employees, right? You
Yep.
said. Now those lessons, you obviously must have started your foundation, right? Your work ethic, you're learning about business from your father, being around the business, and then you went to school and you made it your own. So what lessons did you take that you still use till this day, and what did you make it your own to? Obviously you're building something even bigger and greater, and you're keeping on the legacy, and you're moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's just countless lessons that I've learned over the years, and one that really sticks out is never judge a book by its cover, and mostly I relate that to hiring. There have been, I would say, 5 to 8 of my employees over the hundreds of the years. I mean, sometimes, let me start with this. The deli work is not easy work. It's, in the service industry, we all have our own challenges and our own different things that go on in each different industry, but it's not a tipped business. So they're working for an hourly rate, and they're doing hard manual labor for an hourly rate, as opposed to you do a little bit better and somebody's going to give you a little bonus for that. If you're a bartender or waiter or something like that, somebody who's having a good day or had a few cocktails might say, hey, here's $20. And don't get me wrong, that does happen here and there. But these guys and women are all on their feet all day long. They're cutting, they're slicing, they're chopping. And when you're looking for somebody that can fill a role, sometimes you just want a body. Sometimes you want somebody that has a ton of experience. I've really learned that, like, when somebody gives you a bad impression in their interview, it's more often than not just because they're nervous. It has nothing to do with their actual character or anything like that. There's 6 or 8 people, like I said, that I could go through long stories about where they just said the wrong thing in the beginning. And I'm like, I do not want this person. I would never hire them for anything. And then either my dad hired them when I wasn't around, or they wound up working for me in a different vein or a different aspect. And 5 of those people still work for me. And there have been employees over the years, that managers that I've hired that wanted to get rid of, and I'm like, no, this person's good at this. You just have to find what they're good at. If it's they need specific instruction, hour by hour, minute by minute, whatever it is, or if it's just maybe their interpersonal skills aren't the same as ours. Everybody's good at something. You just, as an owner, as a boss, as a manager, as whatever it is, you just have to find that strength. Everybody has something, and you could find a way to take advantage of that. This is another thing that I've learned, that it doesn't sound as pretty, but people are out to get you, and I don't mean employees or anything like that, but vendors. I mean, you really have to pay attention. We're very fortunate to be almost 100 years old, and some of our purveyors, we've been dealing with them for 20, 30, 40 years, and I don't have to worry about them. But you got guys that'll come in and try to undercut them and say, I'll give you milk for $10 less a case. And sure, they will for 2 or 3 months. And then they're charging you $40 a case. And those relationships, like, you just need to keep them, and just stay on top of everything. I mean, we're very hand-to-mouth business, I guess, and I don't mean in a financial sense, just in a product sense. I mean, we're moving so much. We're moving 5,000 pounds of roast beef every 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to keep track of. And in college, you learn things like that too. Obviously, if your bread guy shorts you 1 roll a day for the entire year, it's $1,200 loss. I mean, you could pay somebody for a week for that. It's just things like that the little things do matter. And those little interactions that you have with the customer matter. I mean, just that extra hello, how you doing, good morning, whether it's a full conversation like this and you're, really getting down to the nitty gritty, or just a quick smile, like somebody, it really resonates with people.
They say it'll take a lifetime to build a great reputation, or 20 years or whatever, and it can take 5 minutes just to ruin it.
Just ruin it. I mean, and it's crazy. I mean,
Really is.
it's not, I feel like it's something I would not have picked up if I was not, like, hands-on in it.
Yeah, of course. And then running your numbers, that's the most important thing. So you better have a great inventory, and you have one of those things that you also got to pay attention to quality control.
Exactly.
Because, oh yeah, this guy's giving it for me for cheaper, but hey, listen, I don't know, the bread was, pure, made this way. I'm not sure. I'm just
Yeah,
throwing
totally.
it out there. Yeah.
And that's a big problem that we have with keeping consistency with the food too. I mean, there are so many moving parts to our sandwich. I guess I should probably explain what our sloppy Joe is. I said before, it's not chopped meat on a bun and it's a cold sandwich, but I never really told you what it was. So it's Pullman rye bread, which is just rye bread made in a white bread mold. So it's square as opposed to round. And what we do is we slice it horizontally, if this is the whole loaf, as opposed to vertically like this. And then we use 3 pieces of it. We lay out 2 pieces and then we cover both with meat. Typically, roast beef and turkey is the more popular. People have gone away from the ham and tongue for the most part. And it's starting to morph, actually. We're going back to diet and preference. People are staying away from red meat. People are going all turkey on us. But still, roast beef and turkey is the most shipped, and definitely the foodies that come in, that's what they want. So we go turkey, roast beef on the top, and then each layer gets a layer of our store-made coleslaw. We cut cabbage ourselves. We brine it for 4 days with our own brine mixture, and then we drain it. So it gets strained for like 2 to 3 hours prior to being put on the sandwich. It's basically bone dry by the time, and it just has that brine flavor in there. Part of what separates us from most of our competition, everyone else really uses like a wet mayonnaise-based coleslaw, which we do sell. We have it by the pound, and it's great for barbecues, and people love it, but it just makes the sandwich messy. We put the Russian on top of that, Swiss cheese, a little butter on the top piece, assemble it all and cut it. But once it's finally assembled, if you look at our website, you'll see a picture right there. Each layer kind of protects the next layer from drippage and things soaking through. And like I said, with Goldbelly, it's one of the few things that you could just eat right out of the package, and it's still perfect the next day. Like you wouldn't know that it didn't just come right off of the counter on there. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry, I missed it.
No, it's all right, man. There was a lot. I was scared that you were going to give away the secret sauce. So I
I'm
was about to
not
stop
gonna
you
do
from
that. So the only part I can give you away about the secret sauce is we do make our own mayonnaise. We make the mayonnaise in-house, and then we add some spices to it to make Russian dressing.
Now, is this the original recipe from the original owner that started it back in 1927 and all that stuff?
Every recipe that we have in the store, with the exception of new items that we've added to the menu that were never on the menu, is the exact same recipe that we used or have been used since 1927. I was the 4th cook ever there, so part of my role, and before I actually bought the business, I was the cook at one point, I was the cashier at one point, I was a manager at one point, I worked behind the counter at one point, I was the bookkeeper at one point. I'm one of the only people that has done every job in that store. When I was the cook for 3.5 years, and I was the 4th. Our cook now is the 5th in the deli's history. That said, though, if you stole our recipe book, it's like just add salt and pepper and put it in the oven. So
awesome.
you're not really stealing the world's secrets. But that's what our whole model is. We're just trying to give you good food, good quality ingredients at a very decent price. And, we're one of the few places that still make it right in front of you. Like, you can watch it from start to finish. We're not, like, putting up a sheet and, like,
So you're still getting the experience and everything like that. It's like, when somebody goes to get Rodizio or something, they're cutting it right in front of you. And
exactly.
All that. So that's pretty cool. Now, you said a lot there. You said you did the register, you were the cook, you did the accounting, you did all that, right?
Yep.
Now, obviously, that's probably makes you such a great entrepreneur. Now, there's one question I got, because now you're doing so much at Seton Hall Prep, that you mentioned. How do you deal with all the time management?
So it's really just fly by night. I really don't have a good answer for you. I'm very fortunate to have a very, very good manager at the deli. My buddy Alex, he's been with us for 6 years on and off. He's on the on stage now, and I can't blame him. He works for UPS full time also at overnight. But he's like us. He's a hustler. He's looking to start his family and get his life on the road. But it's really just having the right people that you trust. And I'm really anti-micromanaging. Like, I just really can't do it. I don't like when somebody's over my shoulder when I'm trying to do a project, whatever it is. If it's building a piece of IKEA furniture, if it's, making a sandwich, like, there's just no reason for it. So it's really just about empowering the people that work for you. And then, it's weird, these jobs that I'm taking at Seton Hall Prep, I'm kind of working for other people a little bit. And while I do love the autonomy and everything, it's nice to be in a little bit of an office setting every once in a while too. And I just really like to stay busy. Like I don't mind working 7 days a week. My fiance is a counselor at St. Elizabeth's. But she takes a lot of side work herself also, whether it be doing the SATs and PSATs and outside counseling and stuff like that. It's just that hustler mentality of, if I stop moving, I might I might stop moving.
Yeah, no, I hear you. The great thing about it is most people are scared of delegating. You have no problem doing that, so that's a plus. Hire correctly, so that's great advice to anyone. And now, do you fire quickly as well if somebody's not doing their job?
So one of my weaknesses is I do not fire. And I lose. It's one of the worst parts of my job, I'm sure, as it is with many other professions as well. There's just no. I lose 3 days of sleep when I fire somebody, and I just go back to what could I have done differently? How did I wrong that employee to get to whatever the situation was that we got to that point? And it's got to be pretty egregious if I'm firing you. But that said, though, I feel as though if I hired you, there's a reason I hired you. I saw something in you, and I want to get whatever that is out of you. And by firing you, I just feel like I'm doing you a disservice, because it's just bad blood. There's no reason for it. I love for people to get skills at our place, whether it be Town Hall Deli, whether it be at the school dining hall, whether it be in our real estate aspect, and move on to something better if that exists in their life.
Yeah, sometimes by firing them, you might be putting them in the right calling, and sometimes sometimes it works out better, and I'm not a proponent of firing people,
Totally.
but I was just trying to figure it out. Finally found a weakness of yours.
Yep. Yeah.
And that time management, I know you're engaged now, and hopefully a family comes. When kids come around, you better be better with that time management. Just a little advice there.
I totally agree with you, and I was very, very fortunate. My parents never missed a game for me. They were very supportive. I the best parents. I mean, and I think that's part of the reason. It's all of the reason of any success I have now. I mean, the parent lottery. I definitely won that.
That foundation there, man. That means everything.
My next goal is just to give my kids the same thing. Like, I think that's what
same thing or better.
That's
That's what your parents would expect from you. And that's what my parents expect from me. Like, hey, don't do less than we did.
Better not. Yeah.
Better not.
All those conversations in the car. You'll see when you have a kid. You'll see when you have a kid. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not there yet, but I can start to see what you mean with these high schoolers running around.
So we covered so much. Is there any advice you'd give to anyone out there for entrepreneurs or
stick with the? So I named my company at Seton Hall Prep after our motto. It's called the HCF CAF. Even though Mr. Gallo hates it called the cafeteria, it is a dining hall, not a cafeteria.
Yeah.
So I was too late. I was already incorporated. I didn't want to reincorporate at that point. But it's something that our Dean of Academics is doing now. We have a sign in every classroom, and we're modeling the curriculum after it. Hazards that forward. And it's just that mentality. The tough times just keep moving forward. Whether it's your dad passed away, your mother-in-law passed away, you're having the worst week at work, whatever it could possibly be, it will pass. That old saying, this too shall pass. Or I think Churchill has a similar one, if you're walking through hell, keep walking. We can all get through it eventually. And, this is not a end all be all by any stretch of the means, but that hazards set forward really resonates with me, and that's why I named my company after it. And it's true. Just got to keep pushing forward, and I feel like just laying around being lazy is just the between the smartphones and the tablets and the computers and the AI and all this stuff. It's like, man. As cool as it all is and everything, it makes us detached and it makes us a little lazy. And it's like, well, I'm guilty of door dashing, all the time. But make that chicken recipe. And so what if it doesn't come out great? You'll learn how to do it right the next time. Like it's just do it, man. Nike.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. That's some great advice. And Matt, thank you so much. And guys, I hope this helps.